When I discovered that my husband, John, was involved in something shady, I never imagined that my best friend, Jennifer, was at the center of it all. The shocking truth revealed a web of lies, betrayals, and secrets that threatened to destroy our lives in New York. I was at home on a typical Saturday afternoon when I saw John's cell phone vibrate on the table. Curious, I picked up the device and saw suspicious messages from someone named Jenny. My heart raced, and a tight feeling in my chest overcame me. Messages like, "I can't wait to see you again," and "Last night was amazing," left me stunned. Could John be cheating on me with another woman? I decided to confront him. John always made excuses to leave the house frequently, claiming work meetings or happy hours with colleagues. But now, everything made sense. He was cheating on me with my best friend, Jennifer. The thought was devastating. "John, we need to talk." I called him to the living room, holding the cell phone in my hand. He approached with a confused expression on his face. "What's wrong, Sarah? Did something happen?" he asked, trying to look innocent. "Who is Jenny, John? And why are you exchanging such compromising messages with her?" I asked, my voice trembling with emotion. John swallowed hard and tried to explain, but his words came out confused and nonsensical. He denied any involvement with another person, but I could no longer believe his lies. My trust in him was shaken, and I knew I needed to find out the truth for myself. Then Jennifer came into the picture. She seemed supportive, saying she was by my side for whatever I needed, but something in her expression made me suspicious. Could she be involved in this betrayal as well? I couldn't ignore the evidence that was piling up against them. From that moment on, my life would change forever. I was determined to uncover the truth, no matter what it meant for my marriage and my friendship with Jennifer. The battle was just beginning. Determined to uncover the truth behind the suspicions hanging over my marriage, I found myself plunged into a private investigation, trying to unravel John's secrets. As he continued to make excuses to leave the house, I felt increasingly determined to find answers. One rainy afternoon, while John was at work, I decided to sift through his phone's call history. Among many unknown numbers, one in particular caught my attention. I jotted down the number and decided to call it, hoping to get some information that could clear up my doubts. As I anxiously waited for someone to answer, Jennifer unexpectedly walked into the house. Her expression looked tense, and her eyes avoided mine. I knew something was wrong. "Jennifer, what are you hiding from me?" I asked, trying to stay calm. She hesitated for a moment, but ended up confessing that she knew something that could hurt me. My heart raced as I stared at her, waiting for an answer. "Sarah, promise you won't jump to conclusions. There are things you need to know, but I can't tell you now," Jennifer said, avoiding eye contact. Those words only heightened my suspicions. I knew I had to move forward and confront John about everything, but something kept me from believing that my best friend was involved in all this mess. I then decided to confront Jennifer about the mysterious number I found on John's phone. She refused to talk about it, only asking me to trust her. But the trust that once existed between us was fading. Meanwhile, John remained distant, avoiding any serious conversation with me. The situation was becoming unsustainable, and I knew I had to act quickly. I felt lost in a sea of lies, betrayals, and secrets that threatened to destroy not only my marriage, but also my friendship with Jennifer. I needed to uncover the truth, no matter the cost, and I was determined to seek justice, even if it meant confronting the people closest to me. When I discovered that my husband, John, was involved in something shady, I never imagined that my best friend, Jennifer, was at the center of it all. The shocking truth revealed a web of lies, betrayals, and secrets that threatened to destroy our lives in New York. I was determined to uncover the truth behind John's suspicious behavior. I discreetly followed him to an unknown location where he was to meet someone. My heart raced, and my mind was filled with unanswered questions. Then, I saw Jennifer coming out of the same place as John. Unable to contain my surprise and pain, I confronted Jennifer directly. "Jennifer, how could you do this to me? How could you get involved with my husband?" My voice trembled with emotion and sadness. Jennifer looked down, unable to meet my eyes. "Sarah, I'm so sorry. I never wanted things to get to this point. I let myself be carried away by feelings that shouldn't have existed," she murmured, struggling to find the right words to apologize. Anger and sadness mixed inside me. John approached, trying to intervene in the conversation. "Sarah, please, let me explain. It was a terrible mistake, and I deeply regret it," he said, guilt written all over his face. I felt betrayed, humiliated, and confused. My mind was in turmoil, trying to process the whole situation. I decided that I needed time for myself, to reflect and decide what to do next. "I need some time alone to think. I don't know how to deal with all this right now," I said, my voice choked with emotion. Without looking back, I walked away from John and Jennifer, leaving them behind. As I walked through the streets of New York, tears streamed down my face. I felt lost, betrayed, and completely desolate. What would I do from here? How would I move forward after discovering such a devastating betrayal? I decided that I needed support from friends and family who could help me face this situation. I didn't know if I could forgive John and Jennifer, or if it was time to move on and leave the past behind. What I knew for sure was that my life would never be the same after discovering the web of lies and betrayals involving the people closest to me. I needed to find the strength to overcome this pain and find true happiness, away from the manipulations and falsehoods that surrounded me. It was time to start over, to break free from the chains of the past and move forward toward a new chapter in my life. When I discovered John and Jennifer's betrayal, my world fell apart. I felt lost, betrayed, and deceived. How could I have trusted two people I considered so close? I decided to seek support from my family and closest friends. My mother, always wise and welcoming, hugged me and made me feel loved. My closest friends also showed solidarity, ready to help me overcome this painful situation. Jennifer tried to apologize to me, saying she regretted her actions. She claimed she was confused and let herself be carried away by her feelings. But her apologies fell on deaf ears. I couldn't forgive someone who had planned to undermine my relationship with John. On the other hand, John asked for a second chance, begging for my forgiveness and promising to change. He insisted that I was the love of his life and that he couldn't bear to lose me. But I was torn between forgiving or seeking revenge. On a cold autumn night, I decided to confront John and Jennifer. I needed answers to understand why they had done this to me. We met in a discreet cafe where the atmosphere was heavy with tension. "Why did you do this to me? Why did you betray me this way?" I asked, with tears in my eyes. Jennifer looked down, visibly uncomfortable. "I was confused, Sarah. I'm really sorry," she murmured. John, on the other hand, held my hand and looked into my eyes. "I made a terrible mistake, but I love you more than anything. Please, give me a chance to make things right." I took deep breaths, trying to control the avalanche of emotions overwhelming me. I knew I needed to make a decision, that my life couldn't remain stagnant in this moment of pain and betrayal. "I don't know if I can forgive you both. The wound is too deep," I murmured, my voice choked with emotion. And so, I found myself at a crossroads. My heart was shattered, torn between forgiveness and revenge. I knew I had to choose a path, that my life could never be the same after that shocking revelation. As I confronted John and Jennifer in a tense meeting, my heart raced and my hands trembled. I couldn't believe that my best friend was involved in this web of lies and betrayals that threatened to destroy my life in New York. "Sarah, I can explain," Jennifer began, but I cut her off. Explain what, Jennifer? That you orchestrated all this to separate me from John? How could you do this to me, to your supposed best friend? My voice was laden with disappointment and anger. Jennifer lowered her gaze, unable to look me in the eye. John remained silent beside her, seeming regretful of his actions. Sarah, I'm so sorry. I didn't want to hurt you. I was confused and thought it was the best for all of us. Jennifer tried to explain, but her words no longer held any power over me. The best for all of us? You only thought of yourself, Jennifer. You didn't consider the consequences of your actions, how much it would affect me. You betrayed our friendship, our trust. I don't want anything more to do with you, I said, firm in my decision. John finally broke his silence. Sarah? I know I messed up. I let myself be carried away by Jennifer's lies. But I love you. Please, give me a chance to make things right, to prove I can be a better man for you, he pleaded, tears in his eyes. I looked at him, seeing the sincerity in his gaze. I knew that forgiving would not be easy, but I also knew that the love I felt for John was real. I took a deep breath and made my decision. I forgive you, John, but things between us will need to change. And as for you, Jennifer, you will face the consequences of your betrayals. I don't want anything more to do with you in my life, I said, with firmness in my voice. Jennifer bowed her head, accepting the consequences of her actions. I felt relieved to finally free myself from her lies and manipulations. I finally found peace and true happiness by distancing myself from toxic people like Jennifer. As John and I began to rebuild our relationship, I knew that together we could overcome any obstacle that came our way. And with Jennifer out of our lives, I felt that we could finally move forward, stronger than ever. Days passed, and Jennifer's absence from our lives brought an unexpected relief. John and I started attending couples therapy, determined to rebuild our relationship on a stronger foundation. Our therapist, Dr. Emily, was a perceptive and empathetic woman who helped us explore our fears, insecurities, and expectations. Sarah, how do you feel about forgiveness? Dr. Emily asked during one of the sessions. It's hard, I confessed. I feel like I'm fighting against a current of pain and distrust. But at the same time, I want to believe that John can change. John, holding my hand, responded, I know it won't be easy, Sarah, but I'm willing to do whatever it takes to regain your trust. Our days were filled with small attempts at reconnection. We went out to dinner at our favorite restaurants, reminiscing about happy moments from the past. The evenings were dedicated to sincere and vulnerable conversations, where we admitted our fears and hopes for the future. One afternoon, while we were walking through Central Park, John stopped and looked into my eyes. Sarah, I want you to know that I'm changing. Not just for you, but for myself too. I need to be a better man, someone worthy of your love. Those words were a balm for my wounded heart. I knew that the journey of healing would be long and arduous, but I also felt a spark of hope. Slowly, we began to rebuild our lives. Therapy sessions with Dr. Emily became a safe space where we could openly discuss our progress and setbacks. We worked on rebuilding trust, one step at a time, learning to communicate better and to understand each other's needs and fears. Meanwhile, I focused on my personal growth. I took up new hobbies, spent time with supportive friends, and practiced self-care. I realized that in order to heal our relationship, I also needed to heal myself. John showed consistent effort to prove his commitment. He was more present, attentive, and transparent. He planned surprise dates, left heartfelt notes, and made sure I felt valued and cherished every day. One evening, as we sat together watching the sunset from our apartment balcony, John turned to me and said, Sarah, thank you for giving us a chance. I promise to continue growing and to never take your love for granted. I smiled, feeling the warmth of his words. I believe in us, John. We're stronger together, and as long as we keep working on our relationship, I know we can overcome anything. With Jennifer out of our lives and a renewed commitment to each other, I felt that we could finally move forward. The road ahead was still uncertain, but with hope, love, and determination, I knew we were on the path to a brighter future. As John and I worked hard to rebuild our relationship, Jennifer tried to atone for her mistakes. She reached out to me several times, seeking forgiveness and offering explanations. However, her words no longer carried the same weight. I was still too hurt to accept her apologies. Sarah, I made a terrible mistake. I was confused and let my emotions guide me. I know I don't deserve your forgiveness, but I want you to know that I am deeply sorry, she said, in one final attempt at redemption. I took a deep breath, trying to control the avalanche of emotions. Jennifer, I appreciate your words, but some wounds are too deep to be healed with just apologies. I need time and space to heal. I hope you understand. She nodded, tears welling up in her eyes. I understand, Sarah. I wish you and John all the best. I hope that one day we can meet again under better circumstances. With Jennifer out of our inner circle, our lives began to find a new balance. John and I rediscovered the joy of being together, without the shadows of the past hanging over us. As we continued our therapy sessions with Dr. Emily, our bond grew stronger. We learned to communicate more effectively, to express our needs and concerns openly, and to support each other's growth. Trust was slowly being rebuilt, one step at a time. One evening, as we cooked dinner together, John turned to me and said, Sarah, thank you for giving us a second chance. I promise to keep working on myself and on our relationship. I love you more than words can express. I smiled, feeling a warmth in my heart. I love you too, John. We've come a long way, and I believe in our future together. Life began to feel normal again, but it was a new kind of normal, one built on the lessons we had learned through our struggles. We found joy in the little things, cooking meals together, taking walks in the park, and simply enjoying each other's company. My own journey of healing also continued. I immersed myself in activities that brought me joy and fulfillment. I took up painting, joined a book club, and reconnected with old friends. I realized that my happiness didn't solely depend on my relationship with John. It also depended on my own personal growth and well-being. One afternoon, as I was painting by the window, John came up behind me and wrapped his arms around me. "This is beautiful, Sarah. Just like you," he whispered. I leaned into his embrace, feeling a sense of peace. "Thank you, John, for everything." The pain of the past was still there, but it no longer defined us. We had found a way to move forward, stronger and more resilient. Jennifer's betrayal had been a painful chapter in our lives, but it had also taught us the value of trust, forgiveness, and the power of love. As we stood together, looking out at the city skyline, I felt a renewed sense of hope. The future was still uncertain, but I knew that with John by my side, we could face whatever came our way. Together, we were writing a new chapter, one filled with love, understanding, and the promise of a brighter tomorrow. Over time, the pain began to dissipate, and trust was gradually restored. John proved to be a devoted husband, always attentive to my needs and feelings. I also made an effort to overcome distrust and embrace the future with optimism. I started dedicating more time to myself, exploring hobbies I had neglected. Painting, which had always been a dormant passion, became an outlet for my emotions. John encouraged me, helping to set up a small studio at home. One sunny afternoon, while painting a landscape of Central Park, John approached, holding a small velvet box. "Sarah, you are my muse, my inspiration. I want to spend the rest of my life by your side, learning and growing together. "Will you renew our vows?" he asked, opening the box to reveal a dazzling ring. Tears streamed down my face as I nodded, unable to speak. The journey of forgiveness and reconciliation had been difficult, but at that moment, I felt that all the effort had been worth it. The renewal of our vows was an intimate ceremony, held on a beautiful spring afternoon in Central Park. Only close family and friends were present, witnessing our renewal of love and commitment. Dr. Emily, our therapist, officiated the ceremony. Her words, full of wisdom and empathy, deeply touched everyone present. Today, we celebrate not only love, but also resilience and the ability to forgive. Sarah and John have shown us that even in the most difficult situations, true love can prevail, she said with a warm smile. After the ceremony, as we danced under the twinkling lights, I felt a deep peace and immense gratitude. John and I had faced the storm together and emerged stronger and more united than ever. In the months that followed, our life found a new rhythm of happiness and harmony. John and I continued to work on our relationship, always aware of the importance of communication and mutual respect. Jennifer went her own way, seeking her own redemption. I heard that she had started therapy and was trying to rebuild her life. Although our friendship would never be the same, I wished her the best. John and I began planning a future together, full of dreams and projects. We decided to open an art gallery, a space where I could exhibit my paintings, and he could manage the business. It was a shared dream that brought us even closer. On a quiet evening, as we walked hand in hand through the city, I looked at John and felt a wave of love and gratitude. We had overcome so many adversities, and together built a life full of love and hope. Sarah and John's journey is a testament that, even in the most difficult circumstances, true love can prevail. They taught us that forgiveness is a powerful act, and that, with effort and dedication, it is possible to rebuild a relationship on solid and lasting foundations. Did you enjoy Sarah and John's story? Share it with your friends and inspire others with this journey of love and redemption. Don't forget to leave your comment and tell us what you think. Together, we can spread more love and hope.